Day 3 started with us in Chamberlain, South Dakota, at a place called Dude Ranch Boat Launch. If you watch our previous video, it explains us getting in that night. This is what it looks like during the day. We spent about an hour exploring the area, checking out the water that had risen quite a bit overnight, and just had a good time. This is the dock near the boat launch. Obviously the water had come up quite a bit. It was kind of cool because you could walk right out on that and the water would shoot up through your feet coming through. I'm sure it's not the safest thing on earth, but we're here to adventure and have fun anyway. After firing up the generator for a quick breakfast of bagels, cereal, some milk, we were on the road, heading towards Badlands National Park. Along the way, we started seeing signs for a prairie dog feeding place. We didn't really know what to expect. We pulled off. This is right before the entrance into the Badlands. And for $1 a bag, you get peanuts that you can feed these prairie dogs. It's awesome.
He's like, I don't want your peanut.
Refused.
We spent about 45 minutes here. The kids liked taking the pictures of the big prairie dog, checking out the gift shop. And they're pretty cute. They even had little baby ones that would come up to you.
Reach him in. You might take it if you get a little closer. Because they dropped. Reach right up in. Right up in. Reach. He'll take it. Get close.
After getting all of our pictures and a couple of videos, we went into the gift shop. It was the cheapest gift shop, I think, on the whole trip. We were able to get souvenirs, ice for the cooler, everything for about $10, and that included our peanuts to feed them. It was crazy. All around the property are these big holes. If you put a peanut right on the top of it, eventually one will come out and you get to see them.
What? They're big ones? That's so weird that they're just like, hey, what's up? Look at them all over there. There's a bunch of them. Look at all the birds though that are trying to get the extra peanuts.
Yeah, the bird just stole your peanut. Yeah.
There's just prairie dogs everywhere.
Yeah, that's the same one.
That's the same one. That one's a big one. Are you gonna go into the spot where they're all over here though?
Yeah. It came.
We haven't even made it out of the parking lot yet. Oh, it's so cute. Hey, buddy. Yeah, maybe those fatties are just don't deserve our peanuts.
About 5 miles up the road is the entrance into Badlands National Park. For anyone that doesn't know, Badlands is a large grouping of ravines, craters, caverns, and geological features that are just very unique to the area with multiple colors. Here's a couple of videos of looking out over one of the main vistas. It was about 100 degrees at this point, so we got some pictures, did a little sightseeing. There's a pull-off just about every 5-10 miles throughout this park, so we just kept stopping at each one, getting the best views we could, and then decided that not far off we're going to need to eat some lunch in the camper. After a quick lunch, we found a hiking trail about halfway through the park that brought you up to a rim that looked over basically the next 100 miles of landscape. It was very hot, so we brought some water. Well, there's the camper down in the parking area. For anyone that's wondering, you can drive a Class C motorhome through all of the roads in this park very easily without any issue at all. The roads aren't really all that tight. We actually added this park last minute. We didn't realize how close to Mount Rushmore it was, so we didn't plan a whole day here. There's plenty of stuff to do to take up a whole day if you wanted to. Just know that there's not much shade, not much cover, and we weren't entirely prepared to just hike all day. We had other stops we had to get to. This was a nice first step into what out west looks like. It's almost like another world if you've never been out here, compared to where we're from, which is the northeast, and it's so green, so many trees, that just see jagged rocks and stuff that looks like Mars everywhere. It's pretty impressive. Kids are having a good time climbing on it. Next stop, about 10 miles outside of the national park, is Wall Drug. Most of you have probably heard of Wall Drug. It's a roadside attraction that they use signage for about, I don't know, 100 miles each direction, every 5 minutes telling you that you need to stop. So of course we did. The nice part about this specific stop is that there's RV parking, semi-parking, and everything right in town, and they're expecting tourists, so they're easily prepared to handle any size rig. It's important to get pictures of the kids on jackalopes. I don't know if you've ever ridden a jackalope, but it's part of Wall Drug's heritage. You gotta get the kids on it. What actually made Wall Drug famous wasn't the jackalopes, it was the free water. About 100 years ago, they would offer free ice water to any wary travelers that made their way through town. So, as tradition, we went into the main Wall Drug store and got our free ice water. Then explored for about an hour and got back on the road heading towards Mount Rushmore. As we were getting back in the RV, a friend of ours mentioned that Deadwood is almost on the way. We looked at the map, decided we still have plenty of daylight. It doesn't get dark till about 9:30, and we wanted to see Mount Rushmore at dusk anyway, so let's go ahead and stop in. Brought us right through the Black Hills and a couple national forests, which is beautiful. And we spent good hour and a half or so walking up and down Deadwood. One thing that we did not account for is Deadwood is pretty true to its nature. It is full of casinos and bars and not entirely kid friendly. They do a Wild Bill gunfight reenactment. He was killed in Deadwood and is probably the most famous gunslinger that was from that area. After Deadwood, we made it to Mount Rushmore National Monument. We were trying to get there for dusk because they do a light show across the faces and do a whole little background story, and we made it just in time, was able to see some wildlife. It wasn't very crowded, and as time went by we noticed the sky was getting darker and darker and darker. We started hearing thunder in the background, and a lady came over the intercom and said, "Sorry that you guys have been waiting, but we're most likely going to cancel the show because we can't do it if it's storming." We actually heard this announcement as other people are still showing up and decided to head out early. We traveled about 40-50 miles south heading towards Nebraska and found a random truck stop that had parking for RVs and called it a night. We didn't have time to find an actual campground in this area as it's quite busy, and there's not a ton of free camping where it's an actual campsite. We knew we wanted to get up at a decent time the next morning, use the truck stop showers, get cleaned up, and start heading towards Nebraska to go to Carhenge. If you like this series, go ahead and subscribe and give us a like. Remember, don't wait, adventure today. Thanks.